Silvia Federici begins Wages Against Housework by addressing the undervaluation and invisibility of domestic labor performed by women. She argues that housework is a form of work that is essential to the functioning of the capitalist economy but is neither recognized nor compensated. Federici's primary argument is that demanding wages for housework would expose the exploitation inherent in this labor and challenge the economic structures that devalue it. Historical context of housework. Federici places the issue of housework within a historical context, explaining how it became defined as women's work. With the rise of capitalism, productive labor became associated with waged work outside the home, primarily performed by men, while reproductive labor, such as housework and caregiving, was relegated to the private sphere and deemed the responsibility of women. This division reinforced gender roles and ensured that women's labor remained unrecognized and unpaid. Housework as a pillar of capitalism. Federici argues that housework is fundamental to the capitalist system because it produces and maintains labor power, which is essential for production. By providing food, cleanliness, and emotional support, housework ensures that workers are able to function and produce value in the workplace. However, because housework is unpaid, it is rendered invisible and women's contribution to the economy is systematically ignored. Exploitation and alienation. The text delves into the exploitative nature of housework, highlighting how it isolates women and restricts their social and economic opportunities. Unlike waged work, housework is continuous, repetitive, and lacks recognition. This alienates women from their labor and each other, perpetuating their dependence on male breadwinners and reinforcing patriarchal power structures. Wages as a form of recognition. Federici proposes that demanding wages for housework is a revolutionary act because it forces the acknowledgement of domestic labor as productive work. By putting a price on housework, it exposes the hidden exploitation of women and challenges the capitalist system that relies on unpaid labor. This demand is not about wanting to be paid by their husbands but rather about highlighting the systemic undervaluation of women's work. Political implications. The demand for wages for housework has significant political implications. Federici sees it as a means of organizing and mobilizing women to fight against their exploitation. It serves as a platform for broader demands for women's rights and gender equality. By uniting women around a common struggle, it can foster solidarity and collective action against capitalist and patriarchal oppression. Critique of feminist movements. Federici critiques certain strands of the feminist movement for failing to address the issue of housework adequately. She argues that some feminists have focused too much on achieving equality in the workplace without challenging the gendered division of labor at home. This oversight perpetuates the devaluation of domestic labor and ignores the experiences of many working-class women whose primary labor is housework. Reclaiming power and autonomy. The demand for wages for housework is also about reclaiming power and autonomy for women. By recognizing housework as work, women can begin to challenge the societal expectations placed on them and negotiate their roles and contributions. This recognition can empower women to assert their rights and demand better conditions both inside and outside the home. Long-term goals and vision. Federici envisions the demand for wages for housework as a step towards a larger transformation of society. She argues that it should lead to a broader rethinking of work, value, and economic structures. Ultimately, the goal is to create a society where all labor is valued and where the division between productive and reproductive labor is dismantled, leading to genuine gender equality and social justice. Federici calls for a renewed focus on the political struggle to recognize and value housework. She urges women to organize and demand wages for their domestic labor as a means of exposing and challenging the exploitation they face. This demand is not an end in itself but a means to transform societal attitudes towards women's work and to lay the foundation for a more equitable and just society. Federici's work serves as a powerful reminder of the need to address the systemic undervaluation of women's labor and to fight for the recognition and rights of all workers.